Carolina, seriously? You're totally useless as a daughter-in-law. Do you even have a clue what time is it right now? When are you gonna bother coming home, doing the chores and making dinner for me? How can you even call yourself a homemaker when all you do is lounge around the house all day? It's time to step up your game, young lady. Because if you don't, you might find yourself out on the streets sooner than you can imagine.
What are you talking about? I never claimed to be a homemaker. I have my own job and I put in a lot of effort every day to support our family. Plus, it's only 4 in the afternoon, which means I'm still in the middle of my work. Can you please be patient and wait until I get home? It won't take much longer.
Are you seriously asking your mother-in-law to wait? Wow, talk about audacity. Your dear old mother-in-law, I'm sitting here starving and all you can think about is work? Is this all part of your master plan? First, you seduced my son, and now you're trying to starve me death so you can take over this house and become the queen bee? That's just downright repulsive. Honestly, I can't even begin to understand why my son decided to marry someone as despicable as you.
Excuse me? What's with your wild imagination? I have no clue where this whole master plan nonsense is coming from. Seriously, what did I do wrong this time? I'm just trying to get my work done because I'm drowning in job assignments at the moment. Can't you please just cut me some slack and a bit more understanding of my situation? One more thing. I'd appreciate it if you could stop bombarding my house with a gazillion calls and messages. It's pretty impolite, especially when I'm in the middle of my office trying to focus.
Seriously? Work, work, work! Is that the only excuse you've got to cover up your lack of responsibility? Spare me! I'm tired of you trying to make a big deal out of your work. Let's be real. Your earnings aren't exactly breaking the bank. In fact, they're basically loose change that wouldn't even cover the cost of a bus ticket. So, whether you work or not isn't even relevant. You should actually be thankful that I'm letting a lazy sloth like you stay here, even though you don't really bring in much to the family's income.
What are you talking about? I'm not saying that I have a skyrocketing salary, but it still means something. In fact, I still contribute a fair share of my salary towards this household's bills.
Listen up, I couldn't care less about your job or your salary. I'm simply asking about my dinner here. Is it too much to ask for a little consideration once in a while? Can you even begin to fathom how hungry I am right now?
Cynthia, I totally understand that you might need some help with cooking, but unfortunately I'm still at work. In the meantime, why not take a look in the fridge and see if you can find something to cook for yourself? There should be plenty of food there that you can use.
Hold up! Are you seriously suggesting that your mother-in-law should handle the cooking herself while you're out there doing who knows what? I don't even know if you're actually working or cheating on my son with another man!
Pardon me? Where did that accusation even come from? I want to make it clear that I am indeed working. I would never, ever cheat on Henry. In fact, the thought of doing something like that has never even crossed my mind.
No need to explain. I already know what kind of woman you are and all your dark secrets. Answer me this question. You actually dated someone else before marrying my son, didn't you?
I'm not quite sure who informed you about that, but it's true. I mean, I'm already 30 years old, so it's only natural that I've had my fair share of relationships and boyfriends before I met Henry. I really don't think we should some sort of dark secret like you just mentioned. It's just a normal part of life and there's no need to make it into a big deal.
I can't even believe that my son went ahead and married someone as filthy and reckless as you. I see you've had your fair share of boyfriends, huh? Unthinkable. You shouldn't be out there whoring yourself like that. And now I'm convinced that's how you tricked my son into marrying you, right? You cunning little wench. Honestly, I'm so grossed out by you. I should have kicked your sorry ass out of this house ages ago.
What? I can't believe you're coming at me like that with all these insults and accusations. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not whoring myself out, so please drop that nonsense. You think I tricked your son into marrying me? Wow, that's a new level of paranoia. I'm not some cunning little wench, okay? Your words are downright disrespectful, and honestly, I'm disgusted by them. Besides, don't you remember something? It was actually you who asked to crash at our place and stay with me and my husband in the first place. So I really don't think it's up to you to decide whether I get to live here or not.
Are you seriously throwing snark at your own mother-in-law now? Come home and take a look at the mess we're surrounded by. There's a mountain of dirty dishes, trash scattered all over the floor, and empty boxes spilling out of the garbage, like everywhere. I swear, I've never witnessed such a sorry excuse for cleanliness in my entire life. Who do you think you're dealing with here? Did you seriously expect me to live in this dump you call home? No way! I wouldn't even consider stepping foot into this cramped and filthy house if I had known you were such a lazy slub.
Cynthia, seriously, did you completely forget what went down last night? You conveniently decided to invite a bunch of other folks over to our place and throw a wild house party without even bothering to talk to me or my husband about it beforehand. And let me tell you, those party people nearly wrecked everything in our house. I tried my best to clean up the mess they made yesterday, but there's still a ton of work left to do. Sorry, but I gotta be real with you. I don't think I can handle something like that happening again.
Huh? Who gave you the authority to dictate what I can or can't do? Show some respect to your mother-in-law and get your butt back home to clean up this mess immediately. I can't stand living in this dump filled with trash. You catch my drift?
Honestly, I don't think we can restore the house to its former state in just a few days. It's gonna take a whole lot of time to clean up, replace the busted furniture, and maybe even repaint some walls, because apparently some geniuses thought it'd be fun to draw and spill red wine all over them.
Stop trying to shift the blame onto me because of your own incompetence. If you had cleaned up the house properly and promptly yesterday, I wouldn't be stuck living in the middle of this dumpster fire. All you seem to know is how to use work as an excuse to slack off on your duties as a wife and leave all the housework for me to handle. Why don't you step up and be more helpful by taking on your fair share of housework? It's beyond belief that I'm the one doing it all these days. Do you think I'm some kind of personal slave to take advantage of however you want?
Don't you remember something? It was actually you who made a promise to help me and my husband with the housework before moving in. So what happened? Did you have a sudden change of heart? And let's be real, you barely lift a finger when it comes to chores anyway. I end up making breakfast for the whole family before heading out to work in the morning. Then, when I finally roll back home after a long day at work, I'm greeted with a mountain of dirty dishes from your lunch escapades, and a pile of clothes a gazillion times throughout the day.
Well, maybe I did say something like that. But that was before I realized just how much weight you've packed on lately. You're practically the size of a dump truck these days. So, doing some extra housework might actually do you more good than harm. See how thoughtful I am?
Honestly, it'd be great if you could maybe cut back on the clothes changing frenzy. It's always like 10 to 12 of your outfits that need washing every single day. And some of them you only wear for a hot minute.
So what? Your retorts are simply outrageous. Stop acting all high and mighty and stay in your lane, young lady. I gotta say, I feel sorry for Henry. He must have made a seriously bad call marrying someone like you. There were clearly way better options out there for someone as good looking and talented as my son. All you seem to know how to do is take advantage of my son's hard work and blow his hard-earned cash on useless stuff. You're like a total gold digger, I'm telling you.
Excuse me, but Henry is my husband, and it's only fair that he helps out with the household finances. And let me set the record straight, I've never squandered Henry's hard-earned cash on frivolous stuff. I only use the money he gives me to cover the essential expenses for our home. Actually, have you ever thought about reevaluating your spending habits? I mean, you splash out on all these fancy, unnecessary things that just eat up your money.
What? Are you seriously blaming your own mother-in-law now? Who do you think you are to criticize me? I'm a grown woman, and you've got no business judging how I choose to spend my money. Mind your own business, you useless woman!
Look, I wouldn't even bring it up if you were using your own cash to fund your costly hobbies, but no. I know for a fact that you've been using the money that Henry sends your way, and you should really stop doing that.
What? Now you even have the nerve to call me out for using my son's money? Really? Listen up. He's my son, and it's only fair that he repays me for all the sacrifices I've made by transferring the money I need to buy my stuff. Remember, There's no such thing as spending too much on your own parents.
Can't you see that your stuff is all over the place in our house? Just a friendly reminder, our space isn't exactly ginormous, you know. And if you keep buying more things, I'm not sure we'll be able to fit it all in here.
Well, if your house is too cramped, that's on you, not me. Instead of gripping about the size of the place, why don't you hustle and earn some more dough to buy a bigger house for us to live in? If you're really working as much as you claim.
Wait, are you for real? Buying a house ain't a walk in the park. Real estate prices these days are sky high, and it costs a fortune. Besides, if we're talking about getting a house for all of us to live in, don't you think it's only fair that we all chip in our fair share? It shouldn't fall solely on one person's shoulders, you know.
My son already takes care of the bills in this household, and it's a big responsibility. We can't put too much pressure on him, you know? So, if we're gonna dive into buying a new house, it should be on you to fork out the cash. You know what? I'm actually a pro at this house hunting business. Just hand over the money, and I'll work my magic to find us the perfect place to live.
Whoa, hold your horses, slow down there. I never even mentioned anything about buying a house, so please don't go jumping to conclusions and making decisions on your own like that.
Quit interrupting when your mother-in-law is trying to speak. Quit interrupting when your mother-in-law is trying to speak to you. It's seriously rude and disrespectful. Show some shame, will ya? Anyway, I've been thinking about these swanky penthouse apartments, luxurious mansions, or even a sweet beachfront villa. Imagine how much our lives would improve with one of those, like 1,000 times over. I'll keep you posted once I find a perfect spot. And when that time comes, I'll need you to cough up a couple $100,000 so I can seal the deal. Oh, and just to be clear, the house should be in my name since I'm the one putting in the effort to find it. Got it?
Look, Cynthia, I don't know what's going through your mind right now, but I never agreed to buy a new house, so I'm not shelling out any cash for it. Seriously, you gotta snap out of that daydream and come back to reality, alright? Let's focus on what's actually happening here.
What? You're the one who keeps complaining about our small house and my stuff cluttering it up in the first place. And now, when I finally come up with a perfect solution, which is moving to a bigger, better house, but you're just brushing it off and refusing to pay for it? Honestly, that's pretty tight-fisted and self-centered of you. You claim to be my daughter-in-law, but you can't grant a simple wish of your dear old mother-in-law? That's just plain evil. Fine, have it your way, but this isn't the end of it between us. I'll find my own ways to get that new, spacious house I desire. Just you wait and see.
Hey, Henry, are you coming home today? I don't see your mom around either. I already cooked dinner just like your mom told me to, and I've been holding off on eating, waiting for you and Cynthia to show up. But it's been hours now and you're still not home. Is everything okay? Pick up the phone so we can talk.
How dare you ask me that? I had to take my mom out to grab a bite because she was practically famished. She specifically asked you to come home and make dinner for her, but you completely ignored her. Are you trying to starve my mom or something? Seriously, I can't believe there's a daughter-in-law as heartless and cruel as you in this world.
Hold up. What are you even saying? She asked me to leave work and come home to cook for her, and it was only 4 in the afternoon back then. I can't just drop everything and rush home to whip up a meal, you know. I've got responsibilities too. Plus, if she's really that hungry, she can handle it herself. The fridge is always stocked up and ready to go. Your mom is a grown woman and she should start being more self-reliant instead of depending on me all the time. It's about time she takes care of herself, you know.
Hey, if my mom needs to cook for herself, what's your role in this household? And my mother's daughter-in-law, so naturally, you should lend a hand and take care of us, especially my mom. Are you a real woman or not? If yes, aren't you supposed to handle cooking, cleaning, laundry, and keeping the house in order? Think long and hard about it. If you can't handle these basic chores, how are you gonna take care of our future child when we have one?
Why am I always the one stuck with all the domestic chores? We're all part of this family, including you and your mom, so why can't you pitch in and help with the housework? Don't forget, I work a full-time job just like you. Sometimes I even have to put in overtime hours. There are days when I'm even busier than you, so you can't just expect me to handle everything around the house all the time.
You want me to help out with the housework? Are you joking? That's supposed to be a women's job, right? You know what? I blame you for the fact that my mom and I had to eat out today. So it's on you to take responsibility for your own shortcomings and reimburse me for what I spent for my meal.
Are you for real? You can't be this unreasonable. I actually came home on time to make dinner for you and your mom today, just like every other day. It's not my fault that your mom suddenly got super hungry in the afternoon. On the flip side, if you're not going to make it home for dinner, the least you could do is give me a heads up. I've been waiting around for hours and now the food is stone cold.
Look, I couldn't care less if you've been waiting for me for hours or even days. It's your own fault for going against me and my mom. You know what? I feel like I hit the jackpot by dining out with my mom today. It's hands down one of the tastiest meals I've had in years since I married you. I bet if I had come home, I wouldn't have been stuck with your usual excuse for food. Seriously, your cooking is a disaster. It's time for you to step up and do something to actually improve your skills in the kitchen.
No one has ever criticized my cooking before. I cook for my friends and parents all the time and they always dig into whatever I serve them. So I don't get where you're coming from with this whole critique thing.
Oh, really? Well, maybe they've just gotten so accustomed to your cooking disasters that they can't tell good food from bad anymore. I mean, come on. You must have single-handedly obliterated their taste buds. Honestly, it's a pity for anyone who has to suffer through the garbage you create in the kitchen. Your food is so repulsive that even the thought of it makes me want to hurl.
Hey, can you please drop the whole food taunting thing? Look, I've got a lot of work at my company that demands my attention too, you know. I'm not claiming to be perfect, but I genuinely make an effort to hit up the grocery store every day and make nutritious meals for you and your mom. I think that deserves a little respect, don't you think?
Why should I respect you for dishing out meals that are worse than dog food? You know what? Dealing with your constant mistakes and arguing is just too much stress for me. I honestly don't even feel like going home and looking at your face around the house. Go ahead and devour all the trashy food you've cooked and clean up after yourself. My mom and I won't be coming home. We'll just rent a hotel and stay there for the night.
What? Why aren't you coming home tonight? What's going on? Did something happen to your car or what?
Nothing really happened. I just can't stand looking at you, and I really don't want to go back to our cramped little house and share a bed with you. It's just so gross. My mom was totally right about needing a bigger place. Both her and I need our own personal space, you know?
Wait, what? Personal space? Seriously? That sounds so off. I mean, aren't we supposed to be like totally committed as husband and wife?
What's the deal? What's the deal? Ever since my mom moved in with us, you've been a total pain. You're always bickering with her over the smallest stuff. It seriously bugs me how little respect you have for your own mother-in-law. I heard you even give her crap for throwing a house party and buying stuff you think is unnecessary. Who do you think you are, you stupid woman? Do you even realize how much your words hurt her?
I didn't say anything out of line. She randomly throws these house parties without giving any heads up and doesn't even bother cleaning up afterwards. Guess who's left to deal with the mess? Yeah, yours truly. I'm the one who's got to face the consequences of her thoughtless actions.
Man, all you do is whine, whine, whine. Is that the one and only thing you're good at? Complaining and pointing fingers instead of owning up to your own shortcomings? Just a little reminder, it's your job to... So quit acting like a kid and start doing what you're actually responsible for.
Then how do you explain your mom's excessive spending habit? She's been using the money I sent to your bank account, isn't she? That money is supposed to be spent on our daily expenses. You can't just let her spend it so recklessly. Sooner or later, your bank account is going to dry up due to your mom's overspending habit on frivolous items.
How do you even know what my mom's been buying? Did you go snooping around her stuff? That's crossing some serious boundaries. Stealing and invading someone's privacy is totally illegal, and you could end up behind bars for that kind of stuff.
Why do I even need to snoop around to see what they are? Her stuff is literally all over the place, cluttering up the whole house. It's like living in a flipping warehouse. And you know what most of it is? It's a bunch of merch like t-shirts, hoodies, posters, mugs, and whatnot, all plastered with her favorite actor's face.
Are you gonna give my mom crap now just because she has a hobby? Like, seriously? Having a hobby is like the most normal thing ever for any regular person.
I get it, everyone has their own hobbies, but this is getting out of control. Our house is just too small to handle all her stuff, and she just doesn't know when to stop. It's like her collection is growing non-stop. Look, I don't see this conversation leading anywhere, so can you please figure out a way for me and your mom to get along? 'Cause if things don't improve, I might have to ask her to find another place to stay.
Alright. I hear you. I'll have a talk with my mom about the whole situation.
Hey, Cynthia, are you there? Can you believe what's happening at our place? We've got a whole crew of construction workers swarming in with trucks full of concrete, bricks, wood, and steel. They even dropped the bombshell that they're planning to demolish our house and put up a new one in its place. Can you imagine?
Oh, my bad. Totally slipped my mind to mention it. But yeah, those dudes are here to lend a hand in tearing down our ancient little house and putting up a fresh one. Oh, believe me, I've got some plans in mind. This time, I want to go big with a 2-story crib instead of our old single-story deal. You know, a braid and all that jazz. Gonna make sure it's way roomier than before. This way, we can all chill together without stepping on each other's toes, you know? It's like creating the ultimate harmony under one roof. Pretty sweet, right?
Hold on a sec. You're telling me you're going to demolish our house and put up a brand new one? When did I ever agree to that? Seriously, you can't just go ahead and make such a massive decision without even consulting me. Who gave you the authority to call the shots without considering my opinion?
Asking for your approval? Don't make me laugh! My son is the owner of this house, and he's already on board with the whole plan. So, there's really no point in seeking your permission when it's already been given. Simple as that, isn't it?
What? Henry already gave the green light to this idea? Why was I left in the dark about it? Well, let's say I'm on board with your grand plan and we reconstruct the house. Who's gonna foot the bill for all the expenses?
Oh, are you seriously asking me that? Obviously, it's gonna be you shelling out the cash, so let's not play dumb here. We all know that my son, Henry, isn't exactly rolling in dough to cover such a hefty expense, right? I mean, tearing down the house and building a new one would cost a fortune. And let's face it, Henry's already got his hands full with the regular bills. We can't expect him to take on the financial burden of house reconstruction too. That'd be way too much for him to handle.
You've got to be joking, right? I expect Henry to foot the bill, but you want me to step in and cover the expenses? Not happening. I can't let you go ahead with such a plan. There's absolutely no way I'm gonna let you pull off that move.
Hey, seriously? You were against the idea of us getting a new house, and now you're saying we can't even fix up our tiny current house to make it more livable for everyone? What can I do to make you happy? It seems like you don't want me to live with you and your husband, do you? All you've been trying to do is waiting for the perfect time to kick me out and make me homeless, right? I can see right through your intentions, you wicked witch!
Listen, Cynthia, I'm done wasting my time arguing with you. If you won't come back and tell those construction workers to stop, then I'll have no choice but to call the police and make them stay away from my property.
Wait, what? Are you serious? You can't do that. I won't allow it. I'm your mother-in-law, so you can't just go against my orders. If you do something silly, I'm gonna make you pay a heavy price. Do you hear me? Carolina! Oh, so you finally realized you can't win and decided to back down, huh? Smart move, Carolina. Don't worry. When you get back from the hospital, you'll be greeted by a shiny new and bigger house that will comfortably accommodate all three of us and my staff.
Cynthia, seriously? You're completely bonkers. Do you even realize what you did to me yesterday? You grabbed a brick and chucked it right at me. I could have gotten seriously hurt from that. No problem.
Ha! Serves you right. You insolent little worm! Count yourself lucky that the brick missed your head and hit your back instead. I was actually aiming for your noggin, hoping to knock you out cold. Well, at least I hit you hard enough to send your sorry ass straight to the hospital.
Cynthia, you're seriously messed up. I'll never forgive you for what you did to me. You deserve to be locked up in prison for the awful crime you committed against me.
Prison? Ha! As if! What on earth are you blabbering about? I'm your mother-in-law, so there's no way you'll ever send me to that horrid place, right? Besides, my son would never let you do that. Promise me, he'd give you a good beating if you even proposed the idea. Just be a good daughter-in-law and cover the expenses for the house reconstruction once it's done. Then, we can all live together as one big happy family again.
Yeah? So what if you're my mother-in-law? That doesn't change the fact that you're a criminal and belong in prison with other people like you. And guess what? I'm not stopping there. Compensation for the physical and emotional harm you caused me. Trust me, I'll find a great lawyer to make sure you pay up a fair amount of money for your crime.
Huh? Stop with the empty threats. You know they won't work. I'm your mother-in-law. We're family. And taking legal action against your own family makes you a criminal too. You know that, right? Look, why don't you just take a deep breath? Relax and sit down with me so we can have a calm conversation? It's not that huge of a problem, is it? I mean, you're still here, alive and well. You know why? Because I held back and didn't unleash my full force when throwing that brick. All I wanted was to teach you a lesson. I bet the hit didn't even cause you much pain, just some minor scratches that aren't even worth mentioning.
I don't care how you hit me, because you shouldn't hit me at all. Save your breath, because no matter what you say, you're still going to prison for your vile crime. Finally, justice was served, and Cynthia ended up in prison for assault and battery. Not long after that, Henry and I decided to get a divorce. Thanks to my awesome lawyer, I was able to demand a substantial amount of money from Cynthia as compensation. As a result, Henry had to use all the money he received from the divorce to pay me back for what his mom owed me. Word got around the company where Henry worked, and almost everyone there knew about the awful crime his mother committed against me. They also saw how blindly he defended her during the trial. Needless to say, his co-workers pretty much gave him the cold shoulder and he had to jump from one company to another. As for me, I managed to find a fantastic new place to live. A cozy and beautiful apartment. I'm determined to turn the page and focus on my career, surrounding myself with friends and family who truly appreciate